Welcome back to the Fit Minute Podcast, where we talk all things health, fitness, and lifestyle. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome back. I'm your host, Gabby Mazur, and on today's episode, I have Dr. Yug Varma. He is the co-founder and CEO of Phyla, and he is a skin and microbiome expert. So we're going to talk about him today, how he got started, and what exactly Phyla is. So welcome to the show today.
Thanks, Gabby. Pleasure to be on.
Yeah. So why don't you start by telling us who you are and how you got into what you do and Phyla itself, what exactly it is.
I am not a skincare professional. I kind of fell accidentally into this. But my background is that I'm a scientist. So I trained at Johns Hopkins. That's where I got my Ph.D. And I did a postdoc following that at UCSF. And then I left the world of academia to start this company based on the very compelling technology that we have. And really the story of like how and why we ended up with this acne product or doing work in the field of acne is that I had been following this very powerful technology for many years at that point, and I was looking for the first best way to use it and to deploy it in a condition. And then I learned about acne. And I was kind of surprised by what I learned because acne is a nearly universal human condition, right? More than 85% of us get it at some point in our life. And I guarantee that everyone who's listening has either experienced acne directly or, firsthand know someone in their family, in their friend group who suffered from very severe acne and, it was a big part of their life. And so, given that this is such a prevalent condition, it was very surprising to me when I learned that nothing really has been done. No new novel drug, not a huge amount of research has been done in the last 40 years to develop new methods, new approaches to treat acne. And being a scientist, looking at the research, I realized that we do have a lot of insights over the last 40 years, understanding how acne sort of propagates, how current approaches work or don't work, and how we can make better products for people. And so it just seemed to me like a huge problem with not great solutions. And that's where, when we applied our technology to that space, it made a lot of sense for us to dive in. And so, it's been about 7 years that we've been doing research and have been in this space and then launched a product for the last couple of years. But a lot of basic science research has gone in, and what I've been involved in myself is bringing this biotechnology to skincare and putting this biotechnology basically in a bottle. And so here we are.
So what exactly causes acne and how can we treat it? How does our health affect it? Um, what exactly can we do about it?
Yeah. And so that's a great place to start because acne is caused by one factor. Although it seems like a complex disease, it's caused by one factor. And that factor is the overgrowth of a single type of bacteria on our face. That bacteria is called Cutibacterium acnes. And while there are many other factors affecting acne, we all know this, like diet, hormones, stress, um, all of these are supporting factors that ultimately funnel into the prime cause of acne. And so this bacteria, C. acnes, is on everyone's face. It's on your face, my face. It's on the face of every teenager and adult that's listening to this podcast. But obviously, all of us don't have acne. And that's because C. acnes is meant to be on our face. But the problem is when it overgrows out of balance, right? And so, I think of our microbiome as this kind of invisible rainforest. It's a rainforest worth of diversity on our skin, and it's invisible because trees are made out of microbes, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and together these microbes form a community that we call the microbiome. Now, this microbiome kind of coats us on the skin, and it forms this, rainforest that, when we're healthy, is balanced, and because it's balanced, it keeps us healthy. When we have a bacterial overgrowth, like C. acnes in the case of acne, then you have an imbalance that is detected by our immune system, which causes inflammation. And this inflammation is the pimples and zits that we see for acne, right? So the way to get back to health is by rebalancing the microbiome, by reducing the overgrowth and bringing the C. acnes to balance, like you have on your skin right now, like I do, which is why we don't have acne. Now, C. acnes is not present in the skin microbiome of kids, before puberty. And that's why those kids tend not to have acne, and acne presents itself at puberty. What happens at puberty is you undergo a big hormonal shift, and part of this is your skin physiology changes. Your pores get deeper, your sebaceous glands activate, and you pump out more oil. This oil is food for the C. acnes, which lands on your skin and starts growing, right? And as a result, let's take diet, for instance. The way diet affects acne is not all of us have diet triggers for acne, but for those that do, whatever food they eat that triggers their acne, whether it's oily food or chocolate or sugar, um, when they eat those foods, the sebum production increases on their face, and that is food for the bacteria. So more food, more bacteria, and that causes acne. Similarly, with stress, you sweat more, you perspire more. That sweat, that sebum is food for the bacteria. For hormones, we all have different hormonal cycles, or more hormones, whether it's cyclical for women, for men, if you're working out or taking hormone treatments, that can trigger acne as well. And this is why also, like, pregnant and breastfeeding mothers see a resurfacing of their acne. It's hormone related, but those hormones are again driving sebum production on the skin. And then even genetics, right? Some people have oily skin, some people have dry skin, some people have large pores and small pores. Those all just are, affecting the production of the favorite food of this particular bacteria. And so the bacteria are driving this. And if the bacteria are out of balance, causing acne, the ideal solution is to kill the bacteria and bring them back into balance without touching anything else, right? Without drying out your skin, without causing all these side effects, and without hurting any of the good bacteria that are on our skin.
Huh. Interesting. Is that the same for like cystic acne? I mean, is it the same thing? I'm curious about that.
Yeah. So whether you have cystic acne or hormonal acne or mild, moderate, or severe acne, all of those are driven by the same factors. And we have three types of skin microbiomes in our body. The first is the sebaceous microbiome, or the oily microbiome. That is our face, our upper neck, and our upper chest. Sorry, our upper chest and our upper back. And this is why, people get acne on their back, people will get acne on their chest, on their face. You'll never get acne on your knee, right? Because that's not where the sebaceous glands are, activated and producing high amounts of sebum. Then there's your dry microbiome, which is, most of the rest of your body, which is your legs, your arms, your torso, etc. And then you have the wet microbiome, which is in the creases of the body. So your armpits, your groin region, etc. And that's a particular microbiome as well. So of these three microbiome types, acne only affects the oily microbiome. And whether, again, you have hormonal acne or occasional acne or cystic acne, it's all driven by the same bacterial overgrowth. It's just that with cystic acne, the body tends to create an abscess or a bump over the pore, which blocks the pore. And then that pore is deeper in the skin, and that's what causes those painful nodules.
Hmm, wow. So, is there a way for most people can treat this naturally through diet, through hormone balancing, and other things like that? Washing your skin. Most people can treat that kind of stuff naturally. Obviously, there are other factors, like you said, like pregnancy,
Mhm.
and like when you're going through puberty, that kind of will change things too. But most people can treat that naturally. How can they do that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, hygiene has a role to play in acne. And so for many people, especially with milder acne, if they start washing their face regularly, they see an effect. There is a noticeable effect in improving acne. Um, of course, these bacteria live deep in the pores, and so depending on how you wash, how well you wash, how often you wash, and how deep the bacteria are, or how resistant they are to just basic hygiene, you may have different sort of proportions of response. So basically that's saying that washing your face will improve your acne. How much it improves it varies.
Hmm.
But knowing what the problem is, which is the overgrowth of this bacteria, if you have a targeted way to kill the bacteria without hurting the other microbiome members or your skin, that is, the ideal approach. It's something that, we've pursued for a long time. But this also reflects on the current acne products, right? Like benzoyl peroxide, like antibiotics and retinoids. They all have an antibacterial effect on the skin. And so, what they're going after is also to kill the bacteria on the skin, except they don't stop at killing the bad bacteria. They also kill the good bacteria. And so what that does is, one of the most common effects or experiences of an acne sufferer are they take a product, it works for a few months, and then it stops working. And the reason is that because all of these acne products are killing your microbiome, they're thinning out this protective layer that you have on your skin. And so after repeated application of these harsh products, you're left with a microbiome that can't protect you from the bacteria from growing back over and over again. So when you stop taking these products, and you have to stop because they're pretty harsh, you're left defenseless, and the acne bacteria come roaring back, whereas the rest of your microbiome is unable to recover.
Yeah, I'm so glad you touched on that because I was just going to bring that up because, we do know that we have bacteria on all of our skin, in our gut, in our intestines. So, like if you're taking an antibiotic, it can cause, gut issues. And obviously, so if you're taking those harsh treatments for your acne, that causes the same thing. So what makes your product different?
So the technology that we've used is it allows us to kill just the acne bacteria that causes the disease without hurting any of the good bacteria that protect us and are part of a healthy skin microbiome.
How does
And
it
the way
do
we,
that?
yeah, it's actually pretty cool. It's an organism called bacteriophage. So what are bacteriophage? They are tiny harmless viruses that kill bacteria. They're all over us, and they're all over the planet. They're actually the most numerous life form on Earth. And they're everywhere. They're in seawater, they're in soil, and billions of phages pass through our body every single day. So, our human cells don't really interact with them, but they're nature's best defense against bacteria. So there are other superpowers that they're very, very specific. And so one type of phage will only kill one type of bacteria and not touch anything else, even its closest relatives. The particular phages that we've developed kill C. acnes, the acne bacteria that we talked about. And what's interesting is there was a 2016 study looking at the microbiomes of healthy people and people with acne to see if there's a systemic difference between them. What they found was the only difference, and the most important difference, was people with healthy skin have these phages against the acne on their skin naturally, but people with acne don't. So what this means is that, we have annoying friends. We all know someone who's, has perfect skin, never got acne, but, never washes their face, just, has perfect skin. Chances are that they have this phage on their skin that is balancing their microbiome and preventing the overgrowth of acne bacteria. And based on this insight, we did our own research with the aim of democratizing this amazing organism, right? To put this organism in a bottle so that you may not have it on your skin, you may not have been born with it, but you can have the benefit of this, microbiome balancing technology and get rid of your acne for life.
That's Pretty interesting. So why would some people have it and other people not? Like what causes people to just have it naturally?
Um, I guess the short answer is we don't exactly know. But one way it could be spread is by contact. And this is why sometimes acne runs in some families and there's a dozen, because you think of a mom and a kid, there's a lot of skin contact, you're hugging and so on, and you're being close with your family members. It could be transferred by that. Another factor is that we've observed that in the short term, on acne skin, if you apply phages, they tend to fall off. So they tend not to engraft. They don't, because it's a living thing, and you think that, oh, if you apply it, it could live on your skin forever. Somehow on acne skin, they just don't do that as much as they do on healthy skin. And so, we're in the process of trying to figure out, like, how long does a sustained application of phages result in engraftment on acne skin, for example? So it could be that the phages are having an opportunity to get onto acne skin, but somehow they keep falling off.
That
Um,
is pretty crazy. That's so crazy to think that, the skin, I mean, we obviously know there's different skin types, the oily skin, the dry skin, and all that, but to think that something like that would be so different, skin is skin, right? But that's very, very interesting to think that that would make such a difference.
yeah. I think everyone can appreciate that everyone's skin is different, right? Um, our skin history, our acne history, the sort of products we use, our regimens, and they all have an effect on the skin microbiome, which develops over time. And so, wherever you are at any point in your life with your skin, you're in a pretty unique place. And so the combination of those factors, I'm sure, has some part to play in the kind of skin microbiome you have. But your skin microbiome could look very different from mine. When we're healthy, we share a trait, which is that our skin microbiomes are in balance. When we have acne, we know that that skin microbiome goes out of balance. And so the way to get back to healthy skin is to, try and go back to that balanced state.
So what exactly can that biome, that rainforest, tell us about acne or tell us about our skin?
The microbiome plays a big role in keeping us healthy. And we've only recently started studying it and realizing the many ways in which it keeps us healthy and prevents us from being sick. Um, our microbiome can tell us potentially a lot about ourselves. Um, and we're not even sure all the ways that it can tell us about ourselves. I mean, it's a very active area of research. Um, Broadly, having an overgrowth of C. acnes has been shown in many, many studies to be part of the driving force of acne. And we've known that C. acnes, this bacteria, has been a part of acne for 70 or 80 years. It's just that now, with more advanced microbiome techniques, we're able to get a much deeper understanding of our microbiome and its role in our health.
Huh. So, uh, I wanted to touch a little bit on like pre, pro, and postbiotics. I know a lot of people take those for like gut health. But can you touch a little bit about that? Tell us the difference between them, what it means, and how that can affect us health-wise and also with our skin.
Yeah, I mean, most people are very familiar with probiotics, especially in the context of the gut. And so, for example, yogurt bacteria or lactic acid producing bacteria are present in yogurt and fermented dairy products. They're also present in other fermented foods like sauerkraut and kimchi and so on. Um, and the reason why they're good for our gut is when we eat these probiotics, they reach our gut and then they produce certain molecules that make our gut happy, right? That basically are they reduce inflammation, they promote the growth of a healthy gut lining, and so on. It's the same, just like we have a gut microbiome, we have a skin microbiome as well. And so a probiotic for the gut or the skin is basically this kind of living factory that, when applied to the right part of our body, grows there and produces, happy molecules that make our skin or make our gut, our body happy. The molecules that it produces are the postbiotics. And so you have probiotics producing postbiotics in the right place at the right time. And if you have probiotics in your body, but you don't have them in high enough numbers to, make your body as happy as it could, then you can add prebiotics, which are basically, substances that help the probiotics grow, better. So the best way that I have for visualizing this is to think of a probiotic as a tree in your garden, right? Let's say you have a fruit tree in your garden, right? The fruit that it gives is the postbiotic. The tree itself is the probiotic, right? Um, and again, the reason you have the fruit, the probiotic in your garden, is that it produces the postbiotic, the fruit. And in order to make that fruit tree grow as well as possible, you add a prebiotic, which is fertilizer, manure, etc., compost. Um, and so that is basically the prebiotic, the probiotic, and the postbiotic.
And how does that like relate to the skin? So you do the same thing for the skin as you would do for your gut?
Yeah, you can encourage the growth of healthy bacteria on your skin, which is a prebiotic. You can add more, of the skin microbiome bacteria on your skin, which is a probiotic. And if you know what postbiotics these probiotics are making that make your skin happy, you can apply the postbiotics as molecules in a cream. The caveat with the postbiotics is, a bacteria will produce many, many molecules in different levels, and it'll produce them at the right place in the right time, right? It may be at the top of the pore, or in the middle of the pore, or at the bottom of the pore, or it may be on your skin surface or several layers deep, but it knows exactly where it should live and what it should produce. And with postbiotics, if we think we can do an end run around the probiotic and just put some molecules in a tube, we just don't have the full knowledge of what exactly they produce that make us happy. So probiotics are great. For the skin, there aren't a lot of companies that actually make true probiotics. And so it's really careful to look at labels and understand, which I think marketing does a little bit of disservice in this aspect, because I think a lot of customers are excited to learn about the microbiome and how it can impact their skin health. And they look to companies to be responsible and responsibly produce, products that they can trust and that are efficacious. But most so-called probiotic creams and products for the skin aren't probiotics. They contain dead bacteria. And the way you figure that out is if in the ingredients list, the probiotic ingredient is called a ferment or a lysate, that basically means it is ground up dead bacteria. So that isn't a probiotic.
So what do you think the future of Phyla is, and how are you intending to reach people with this product?
Yeah, I mean, the future of Phyla is we're giving people a choice in acne treatment that they never had before, right? Before, everyone suffering from acne was basically forced to compromise their skin in order to get rid of their acne. They were resigned to have dryness, redness, irritation, inflammation as part of the harsh acne ingredients that were in their products. Now, for the first time, we're giving them a choice of having a very effective acne product without any of those side effects, without compromising their skin health. And I think that's a huge leap forward. And we're really a biotechnology company at heart. So we're starting with acne, but we're also doing active research in eczema and other areas so that we can bring relief to other people with other chronic conditions in the skin. And it's a very exciting time for us because we're in a very exciting space. People are very excited about the microbiome and probiotic skincare. And we think that it's a really good fit for our company to be producing products where we're excited to have real biotechnology in their hands. So where you can find us is we are Phyla, Phyla. You can find us online at phylabiotics.com. That's our website. That's where you can learn more about our science, our clinicals, and you can make the best choice for yourself. We're also on socials at Phylabiotics. So we're at Phylabiotics on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc.
And you're on YouTube also. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that's so informative. I really did not know any of this. I guess I never thought about it because, nobody wants to learn about their zits. But so, okay, so if we have different bacteria over our body, why do people get butt zits?
Well, that is just irritation.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you have individual pores that could get infected, but that is technically not acne. It's called dermatitis.
Okay.
And I would guess that is caused by other bacteria. But
Oh,
there are other bacteria on your skin, and depending on again, factors of hygiene and genetics and all that kind of stuff, and the sweat, you can have any number of bacteria colonizing your pores. It's just that acne is driven again by the overgrowth of that one bacteria.
yeah, I know. And like the Dr. Pimple Popper is kind of a thing now. I have never watched that show. I can't even go there, but I'm sure people watch it. But it's not just the face, and definitely, like you said, the overgrowth of bacteria. But ew.
Yeah, I mean, it floats, I guess it has a dedicated audience because it's very popular. And, you know, I would advise anyone who's popping their pimples to not do that. Dr. Pimple Popper is obviously dermatologist and a trained person. And so, she does it in a controlled setting, making sure that the popped pimple doesn't get infected and so on. And so you got to be careful doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this. I will have all the socials, the website on the show notes, so everybody can find that for you. But is there anything you want to leave our listeners with today? Any words of wisdom or insight, or anything you think is important they should know?
I have sort of two thoughts. The first is a lot of people, specifically with acne, think that drying your skin is the answer. And it does affect acne indirectly because the oil in our skin is the food for the bacteria. But the oil is very important for our skin. It prevents fine lines and wrinkles, and it keeps our skin moist. So removing that, stripping your skin repeatedly actually does more harm than good. And the other thing is, routine. And it's odd for someone, from a skincare company saying that, but we firmly believe in a minimalist ethos, and sometimes doing less is more, and that's certainly true when it comes to skincare.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing this. And I think it's really cool that there is something different and new out there for people to try. I know there's a lot of people that have tried the retinols and many different things. I know, gosh, 40 years ago that was huge. But thank you so much for coming and sharing this with us today.
Thanks, Gabby. Really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening. If you want to find out more information, you can find him at phylabiotics.com. Also, you can reach me at gabby@pilatestempe.com. And if you want any more information, you can find us there. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you